Okay, it started, yeah. Okay, DC here, guys. Well, I'm on the Mac and I'm recording with the QuickTime, so I guess that's why I didn't quite notice it really started. So we'll see how the lighting is. It's not great here, but we'll have to do with it. Now, what am I going to do today? I'm wearing my Montreal Canadiens t-shirt, but I'm going to do a beer vlog of Kokanee beer, which is from, I believe, let me see what Wikipedia says. Well, it's from British Columbia, I guess, isn't it? It says, Kokanee beer, a light beer. It is most commonly found in the western provinces of Canada and the Pacific Northwest states of the USA, with sparse distribution in the eastern provinces. It was made available in Newfoundland and Labrador. We don't want to know all that. The Columbia Brewery also brews Kokanee Gold, and so on. And let me see. Well, I guess that's about it. So they said the picture on the label consists of mountains known as the Grey Peaks in British Columbia. So here we are. So it's 5%. And there's a little story here. When I was last week, those of you who've watched my geocaching video when I was in Lucerne, there was a beer of the world at the train station. I like to go and see what they have for Canadian beers. And I'd seen this one, which I did not know, and thought, okay, cool. So when I brought the can over to the cash register, the guy was all excited. He said, "We are the only people in Switzerland that have this beer." He says, "I've waited forever to get it." And I asked him, well, why did you order it? And then he wasn't able to answer. So I don't really know. So let's see. Let's try it. I was just going to ask a general question. Maybe Andy Feckwig can have this beer over in his part of the world and could make a beer vlog as well. So let's see. First off, well, it's a can. I couldn't help that. But okay. And it's already, you can see from the can size, at least as I am, that it is a Canadian or American beer or whatever from the format. Okay, I didn't have a Canadian glass, so I'll have to use a Swiss beer glass. Here we are. So I'll hide the Swiss beer. It was Gorton beer. I can always show it. It was Gorton beer, which was a burn beer. And so this is what it looks. Nice golden color. Okay. Okay, the taste is coming in. It's kind of light in the beginning. Because they said, I think, on the Wikipedia, Pilsner-like, but no, this is not Pilsner-like, but it's more sharp maybe than a normal lager, and yet there is some type of aftertaste. I mean, which is, I guess, it is a slightly bitter, but I mean, there's no way that this is like a strong Pilsner beer. It's not a bad beer. Not a bad beer overall. I wouldn't spend a fortune on it, especially if I have to get it export. It's an export beer, so an import beer over here I have to. But it's okay, and I mean, it's a Canadian beer. Every now and then to try something from home, even though I'm not from British Columbia. And I officially come from Quebec, which means that I'm not part of the ROC, as they call over there, rest of Canada. But that's very much the way I feel over here, being part of the real Canada, which means that I am an expat over here, which has the advantage that I do not have to associate with one particular part of Canada. I can say that I'm Canadian without feeling like people looking at me, as sometimes it would happen in Quebec if you say you are Canadian. Okay, enough politics. I was reading over lunch, still, I know I'm taking forever to get over this book. I mean, I'm still in Travels with Charlie from John Steinbeck. And John Steinbeck was visiting Monterey in California, where he comes from, around there. He comes from Salinas, but he was in the Monterey region. And he read this. Actually, there was something he said. The place of my origin had changed. And having gone away, I had not changed with it. In my memory, it stood as it once did, and its outward appearance confused and angered me. What I am about to tell must be the experience of very many in this nation, meaning the States in this case, but it's a general comment, where so many wandering come back. I called on old and valued friends. I thought their hair had receded a little more than mine. The greetings were enthusiastic. The memories flooded up. Old crimes and old triumphs were brought out and dusted. And suddenly my attention wandered. And looking at my ancient friend, I saw that his wandered also. And it was true what I had said to Johnny Garcia, that's a bit earlier in the story. I was the ghost. My town had grown and changed, and my friend along with it. Now returning as change to my friend as my town was to me. I distorted his picture, muddied his memory. When I went away, I had died, and so become fixed and unchangeable. My return caused only confusion and uneasiness. I'll stop there, but those of you who are immigrants, expats, or whatever like myself probably feel the same thing if you go back and do happen to meet people, old friends, not so close family, which you might not have regular contacts with, and so on. That is something that really is the case. You know, when I go back to Canada, I always make a pilgrimage, if I can call it that way. When I go back to my part of the world over there, I make a pilgrimage to my hometown, which has changed a lot since I was there, and the house where I was brought up in doesn't look at all like what I knew it. But I always go to the graveyard where my grandfather is, and there's another one in our town where actually my grandparents are there now, both of them. And excuse me, another one where my other set of grandparents are. But the graveyard where my dad's dad is, because he died early, so I mean I went there all my life, and basically that has not changed. And there is no ghosts there, if you know what I mean. That is like I go there and that is the same. And it's always good to go back. And it's strange to say that when you go back to a graveyard, you're going back home. But there is something when you go back to the ancestors, to your roots. And that's really where the roots are, actually, is where your ancestors are, I guess. I know one can say you create your roots, and you do up to a point. I mean, I'm hoping that I will have some roots here. And for my children, I mean, their roots are clearly here. I guess I'm just a wanderer. It's funny, actually, when you think about that, because I've always liked to move around and meet people and everything. And still, nevertheless, you have to have some roots somewhere, don't you, somehow? You go back and there's these memories. But that's just it. They're memories. They're fixed in time, aren't they? I guess so. Anyway, so I'm saying that with a Canadians t-shirt, which, by the way, I never was a great hockey fan. I mean, the time that I used to listen to hockey were Jean Béliveau and Gump Worsley. So if any of you remember that, you're old. Is that about it? I guess it should be, I guess. Memories, I've got a whole bunch of memories behind me. I'm just looking at those. You know, memories as a teenager, the children, memories over there, actually, with the where is it over here? With the Casey family. And somewhere over there, there's memories with different members of the family, my mom, my dad, and Helen's mom and dad. And look at the memories over here. Blue Flamingo. made that. Does anybody still know who Blue Flamingo is? If he's ever listening, tell him to come back. Tweeting this. I mean, that's the Casey family, as I call them. Yeah. Memories. Oh, that one here actually is Katie. Another Canadian. Have I been going on long enough? I guess so. I've been kind of reminiscing. Thanks to this Canadian beer. BC signing off. Take care. And why don't you make a beer or tea vlog? Who knows what? Okay. Have I been speaking that long? Oh my goodness, I gotta stop. 10 minutes. Bye.